Welcome back to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. The first story is called No Matter What. I work as a tech at an outpatient clinic. It's within a building that also has an ER, which kinda works as a glorified urgent care center. We are responsible for imaging both outpatient and ER patients. This means we are open 24/7, and coverage for CT and X-ray are needed at all times. I work the day shift and have about 6 years of experience. When I first started in this place about a year and a half ago, it was great. We had a full staff and everyone worked well together. Little by little, people started to move on to other endeavors, and there were not enough hires to keep up with the departures. This was made worse by our outpatient schedule being packed, while also being expected to handle dozens of ER patients as well. There used to be 5 CT techs on rotation and overlapping shifts at any given time. Now we just have 1, me, and the only X-ray techs left don't do CT scans. As you can imagine, it gets very busy, and I really only eat small bites of whatever I brought for lunch in between patients. Sometimes I go my 8 to 10 hour shifts without eating until I get home for dinner. Management is obviously up in arms about this, because they don't want to be audited and reprimanded for their employees not having a proper 30. But at the same time, they complain about the schedules being backed up, as if they didn't set it up to fail to begin with. I was just told by our district manager that I am required to take a lunch, no matter what, and make sure it's recorded on my timesheet. I'm currently eating pizza while 4 patients wait for me. It's probably more right now as I sit here. There's a phone in the break room, and they called me, asking where I am, and I said I'm on break. Obviously, management can't do anything. I'm only doing what they asked me to do. The next story is called Salespeople. I'm finally leaving my toxic job for a better opportunity. My narcissistic boss treats everyone under her like crap and is generally rude, condescending, and miserable to work for. We work in a field where we are constantly bombarded by salespeople, many of whom are extremely persistent and borderline rude. I sometimes get over 100 emails a day from such salespeople, not to mention phone calls, but I have specific rules set up in my Outlook, so that they mostly go straight to my junk folder. My boss is not so good at Outlook or technology in general, so she does not know how to do this. She would often scream at me to find emails for her, because somehow she could not even figure out how the search function worked. When I resigned, she told me to notify every representative I am regularly in contact with that I am leaving, and that she is the new point of contact until they find a replacement for me. I spent the last week providing each and every salesperson with her email and direct dial. Good luck getting rid of those. The third story is called Lackluster Food. Growing up, my sister and I were good students and got straight A's most quarters. As some parents like to do, ours rewarded us for it by taking us out to dinner each report card, and they alternated who would choose the location between the 2 of us. Now, when we went out to dinner, there were some rules that didn't make sense as kids. If we ordered a cup of soup, we had to get a salad or sandwich, so we couldn't have soup and chicken tenders, for instance. And if anyone, including our parents, got an appetizer, then we couldn't get dessert. There were a couple more nuanced things, but those were the big 2. But they didn't apply if the meal came with any of those things. So every time it was my turn to pick, I would pick golden coral. And after quite a few times of suffering through the lackluster food, my mom finally demanded to know why I always wanted to go there. Because it's the only time I can get both a soup and a dessert when we eat. We were allowed to order dessert after that. The next story is called Electricity Thief. The This happened about 10 years ago. I had a neighbor who was your typical, can't keep a job for long enough to pay for anything, but it's always someone else's fault type of guy. The previous tenants at my apartment had installed an RV hookup, and when the neighbor didn't pay his bill, he simply wired his breaker panel to my 50 amp outlet. I'm an engineer and have lots of random things laying around, so I checked to make sure the power company had isolated his service. Then I wired up a transformer and plugged his cord into it. This sent about 10,000 volts through every appliance in his house, for just long enough to make sure that not even his cell phone would ever turn on again. The next week, the pile of electronics on the curb was stunning. PlayStations, TV sets, surround sound, computers, every appliance you name it. If it plugged in, it was trash. The last story is called Any Car. Back in the mid-90s, at age 19, I bought a little used car from a used car dealership. No car they sold was overly expensive, nothing under 3 years old. The car I bought had an outstanding recall, so the used car dealer was taking it to Ford for me. After driving it for a week, I dropped it off at the dealer to take it to a Ford shop. I was given a loaner. Later that day, I got a phone call. The mechanic was in an accident and the car was damaged badly. He was okay. It ended up in a dispute on who was responsible for causing the accident. The car was not repairable, nor would I want it after repairs. The person who called was asking me about insurance coverage. I straight away said that it's on them. My insurance company also got involved as the other driver made a claim. The dealer also tried to say my insurance would cover my loaner vehicle. You had to be 25 to rent from Enterprise. I was 19, and why should I put that on my insurance? I told him I'm keeping the loaner they provided me originally till it's worked out. 2 weeks later, the owner agreed to replace the car and cover the damages, keeping my insurance out of it. Maybe the fact I knew and worked for a lawyer friend had something to do with his decision, and the nice letter my lawyer friend sent. The owner said to come pick any car I want off the lot. Great, I'll take the loaner vehicle. It was nice and drove great. Well, that's my wife's fully loaded car she likes to drive. We were figuring something similar to your previous car. Luckily, I had my lawyer friend with me to ensure no nonsense occurred. He said, the loaner is on your lot, dealer tagged, and is on your books as a vehicle for sale. And given how this issue was handled, dealers would get cars in and drive them on dealer tags for personal use. The owner's wife was doing that with the loaner they gave me, thinking originally I'd only have it for a day. Needless to say, the loaner vehicle was signed over to me. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.